List of the disadvantages of multilingualism. 1. You might struggle to get along in monolingual societies. When you can speak multiple languages fluently, then monolingual societies will often group your ability into the overall conversation of immigration. Some people see the effort to speak multiple languages as a desire to create open borders in their country, so they oppose any effort to speak anything other than the first language. You can see this disadvantage heavily prevalent in the United States when there is an effort to speak Spanish in addition to English. In severe situations, being multilingual could cause some people to become isolated from their communities because they are viewed as being an elitist. 2. There might be a lack of skilled educators in your community. Thanks to the online resources that are available today that can help anyone become multilingual, this disadvantage is slowly disappearing. If you do not have internet access at home or your connection is slow, then you might find yourself forced to rely on local instructors who can help you to begin learning a new language. In many of today's small towns, this is a resource that is not available. If no one in your family is bilingual or multilingual either, then you may not have any other option available to you to start the learning process. Many instructors are already struggling to meet the regulated demands for educational performance already, so trying to add another language into the curriculum is almost too much to ask. 3. It requires a complete immersion in the language to be effective. Children often learn multiple languages quickly because they have not yet had the opportunity to establish a definition of normal for their primary language. As people get older, their routines and language habits make it challenging to obtain a complete immersion in a second language. Resources like Lingohoot can help you to become conversationally fluent without a cost if you have a data connection, but even then, self-discipline is necessary to continue using the secondary language fluently. 4. Studying new languages can shift the focus of a student. When multilingual schools use different languages for instruction throughout the day, then the priority becomes how fluent students are in each one instead of focusing on their core subject matter. Even when schools create these learning programs for after-school activities, you will find some people ignore the other parts of the curriculum to ensure that they are getting the new language down to the best of their ability. If students fall behind in the learning curve for a new language, then trying to catch up on their essential life skills can become a challenge. Although it may be important to become multilingual for future career options, a well-rounded education is essential as well. We must provide a societal structure where both are emphasized with equal importance. 5. Multilingualism can lead to fewer relationships. People who speak multiple languages are often regarded in a different light by society in general. It is not unusual for people who can speak more than a dozen languages to be placed on a pedestal for this accomplishment. It is not unusual for students who are enrolled in multilingual programs to find themselves only making friends with the others who are in the same class as they are. You will receive more exposure to different cultures when you pursue multilingualism, but it can sometimes come at the cost of forming relationships with other people. It can almost become a circus act with the requests that people have of you when you know multiple languages. It is not unusual for someone to ask you to say something in a different language. What is my name in this language? 6. Your parents use the secondary language to communicate that you are in trouble. When you grow up in a household that is multilingual, then you will know that you are in trouble because your parents or guardians always use the secondary languages to communicate with you. There is a certain logic to this behavior because it creates a level of privacy for that conversation if most other people in your community do not know what is being said. At the same time, anyone can detect anger or frustration in the voice of another, no matter what. For that conversation if most others always use the secondary trouble. When you grow up in a household that is multilingual. 6. Your parents use the secondary language to communicate that you are in trouble. When you grow up in a household that is multilingual, then you will know that you are in trouble because your parents or guardians always use the secondary languages to communicate with you. There is a certain logic to this behavior because it creates a level of privacy for that conversation if most other people in your community do not know what is being said. At the same time, anyone can detect anger or frustration in the voice of another, no matter what language is being spoken. That can make it be an embarrassing encounter even when the intent might be to do the opposite. 7. Your phone is not going to understand what you want to say. One of the most frustrating aspects of being multilingual involves the autocorrect function on your phone. If you are trying to text in a language other than the primary one set for your device, then the misspelled words will adapt to the first language equivalent whenever possible. Even if you are trying to offer a straightforward phrase as a text, trying to send out the message can become an exercise in patience. Anna Mazzini offered the example of trying to say in Italian, "Today, I have to go to the market, and after we can meet at the restaurant at 7. When typing this text outside of English, numerous words autocorrect to create an incomprehensible sentence that must be fixed. If you dictate your texts, then this issue can become even worse. 8. You can start to mix the different languages together as you speak. When you can speak multiple languages fluently, then it is not unusual to mix the different languages together when having a conversation. If you like to invent new words with your primary language, then you may experience this disadvantage more often. You might also find yourself throwing out different terms as things happen to you throughout the day. As Mazzini describes this disadvantage in The Local, her friends would turn to her and say, "Stop showing off just because you can speak another language. You must constantly focus on the language you are speaking to avoid messing up what you're saying." Even with constant vigilance, it is not unusual to start a sentence in one language, and then end it in another. Subscribe to my channel. And stay tuned.